You lock your door at night. Maybe you check it twice. You draw the blinds, turn off the lights, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a small voice confirms, this space is secure. It's fine to lose consciousness for the next 8 hours. Now picture a gazelle on the open savanna. No door, no walls, no blinds. Lions within smelling distance, hyenas patrolling at night, and yet that gazelle still finds a way to sleep, genuinely, deeply, vulnerably unconscious, in a world that wants to eat it. So how does an animal with no locks, no security system, and no ability to reason its way through risk assessment decide night after night that it's safe enough to shut down completely? The answer involves half-asleep brains, borrowed vigilance, and one genuinely bizarre trick some animals use to sleep with one eye literally open. Let's start with the most basic problem every animal faces, because it's more brutal than it sounds. Sleep is, biologically speaking, an enormous liability. An unconscious animal can't watch for predators, can't flee quickly, and can't defend itself effectively. And yet virtually every studied animal species sleeps anyway, which tells you something important. Whatever sleep does for the brain and body must be valuable enough to justify walking straight into that vulnerability every single day for an entire lifetime. Researchers studying sleep across species have found this trade-off is so severe that many animals have evolved wildly different strategies just to manage the risk, rather than avoiding sleep altogether. Which means the real question was never, why do animals sleep despite the danger? It's how did evolution make that danger survivable? Now here's the part nobody talks about. Some animals solve this problem by never fully losing consciousness at all. This is called unihemispheric sleep, and it sounds almost too strange to be real. Dolphins, along with several other marine mammals, sleep with only one half of their brain at a time, keeping the opposite eye open and functional, allowing them to continue swimming, surfacing for air, and staying alert to predators, all while genuinely sleeping. Research published on marine mammal sleep patterns has documented this switching behavior occurring roughly every couple of hours, allowing both hemispheres to eventually get their rest without ever leaving the animal fully unconscious and defenseless. Some birds do something similar. Migratory birds flying in a flock formation have been observed sleeping with one hemisphere active mid-flight, and studies on mallard ducks found that individuals positioned at the edge of a sleeping group kept their outward-facing eye open significantly more often than ducks safely tucked into the middle, literally sleeping with one eye watching for danger and one eye resting. Half asleep is still safer than fully asleep, but most animals, including us, don't have this half-brain option available. So how does everything else manage it? Here's where it gets strange, because for most animals, the actual safety strategy isn't biological at all. It's social. This is the exact same principle behind why humans historically slept in groups near a fire. Animals that live in herds or packs frequently rely on a rotating vigilance system, where at any given moment, at least one member of the group remains awake or lightly alert while others sleep more deeply. Research on meerkats, a species famous for cooperative behavior, has documented dedicated sentry behavior, where individual meerkats take turns standing guard while others forage, rest, or sleep, actively calling out alarm signals if a predator approaches. This means an individual animal doesn't need to personally guarantee its own safety before sleeping. It just needs to trust that someone else in the group is currently doing the watching. Safety in this system isn't something you create alone. It's something you borrow temporarily from whoever's currently on shift. That works beautifully in a group. But what happens with animals that don't have a herd, a pod, or a pack to lean on? But wait, what about solitary animals? A lone predator or solitary creature doesn't have a group taking shifts for it. This is where location becomes the entire strategy. Solitary animals overwhelmingly compensate through highly specific, carefully chosen sleep environments rather than social vigilance. Leopards, for example, are well documented dragging prey and resting high into trees, using elevation itself as a security system, putting physical distance between themselves and ground-based threats like lions and hyenas that dominate leopards in a direct confrontation. Many rodent species dig complex burrow systems specifically engineered with multiple exits, allowing an animal to escape quickly in more than one direction if a predator breaches the main entrance. For a solitary animal, safety isn't borrowed from a group. It's engineered directly into the geography of where it chooses to rest. Height, depth, or an escape route built in advance, before the danger ever shows up. So between shared vigilance and chosen terrain, most animals have this fairly well covered. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it might be the most universal of all. And that's really the thread tying every one of these strategies together. A dolphin sleeping with half a brain does not surrender to danger. It simply refuses to fully close the door. A meerkat standing sentry does not sacrifice its own rest. It borrows tomorrow's watch from someone who will return the favor tonight. A leopard resting in the high branches does not outrun the lion below. It simply chooses ground the lion can never reach. Every species that survives the vulnerability of sleep does it the same way in the end, not by eliminating the risk, but by never facing it completely alone. Whether it's half a brain, a rotating guard, or the right tree at the right height, none of it is really about eliminating danger. It's about managing it cleverly enough that unconsciousness stops being a death sentence. So what about the exceptions? Because surely some animals just get unlucky, no matter how good their strategy is. They do. Young, sick, injured, or elderly animals are disproportionately more likely to fall victim to predators specifically during sleep, precisely because their ability to execute these strategies. Staying with the group, finding ideal terrain, maintaining alert vigilance is compromised by their condition. This is part of why predators specifically target vulnerable-looking individuals, rather than a healthy adult in the middle of a well-guarded group. The entire system of safe sleep only functions as well as an individual animal's ability to actually participate in it, which is a quietly brutal detail worth sitting with. Safety in the wild was never guaranteed. It was earned, moment to moment, by an animal's ability to stay inside whatever system, biological, social, or environmental, was protecting it. So back to you, locking your door, checking it twice, drawing the blinds. You're doing exactly what a dolphin does with half its brain, what a meerkat does on sentry duty, what a leopard does climbing into the high branches. You're just doing it with a deadbolt and a security app instead of biology or terrain. The instinct underneath all of it is identical. Before an animal, human or otherwise, is willing to go unconscious and vulnerable, something inside it needs to be convinced, beyond doubt, that the watching has already begun. We never really stopped needing someone or something to keep watch. We just outsourced the job to a lock.